Hey everybody, Jonathan Broadbent. It is 5 o'clock on the nose, Tuesday, November 7th. Today is voting day. And if you, my favorite listener, are in Ohio or one of the other states that has a vote today, get out and vote. If you have not already gone out and rocked the vote, get out there and vote. And if you believe, like I do, in the state of Ohio, vote no on issues 1 and 2. But I'm not here to talk about those issues, and I'm actually not. I didn't sign on and do this live stream to talk about voting today. It just did occur to me to encourage you. I'm actually here to talk about behavioral finance. That, for most people, is going to be a head scratcher because not a lot of people know about this whole, I can't even call it a discipline, an area of study that's called behavioral finance. So just picture those rooms where they put a bunch of people and they have like two-way mirrors and a bunch of microphones and stuff, and they ask questions and they see how people respond. Or better yet, just think about like Facebook and social media and stuff, and they're constantly working on algorithms and tweaking things and checking people's behavior and how they respond to certain things. Everything: font, color, images, the speed with which things change, everything. Believe me, when you get into most things where money's involved and influence and power, um, there's no detail too small to be studied. So there's an area of education, I guess I'll call it, called behavioral finance. And years ago, many years ago, through some networks and connections and everything, I got to know and was reading a lot of the stuff that was put out by a gentleman by the name of Shlomo Benartzi. What an interesting name, Shlomo Benartzi. He was, I think, affiliated with UCLA Anderson, and some of my friends were doing a lot of work with him and interacting and stuff. But I got a lot of his stuff, and I read a lot of what he put out, and some of the things that I've done professionally emanate from that area of study. And now, perhaps more to the point, a lot of what I'm doing to fight back against the woke left comes from an awareness of behavioral finance and how things are manipulated. By way of example, there's a company that I've done a lot of work through the years who they do frequent publications. Most of the publications are designed for the individual consumer. So there are things that you might read that get an email, or they might be published, or parts of it referenced in newspaper articles or that sort of thing. But parts of what they publish are designed for people like me who work in finance. And it's like, hey, look at this stuff we're doing, and we've worked on this thing. And one of the things that they talked about really stands out for me. And I'll never forget this description because it took place over months. I think it was almost a full year. This company had done massive research, and they decided that a certain type of postcard sent in close relation to somebody clicking something on their website. Remember, this is in finance. So somebody has an account with this financial firm, would go and they would click on something expressing interest, and within a certain number of days, that company then would send out this postcard. And the postcard, they figured out, led to people taking a certain action, which then, of course, made that company money. That company, on that one postcard mailer, spent over $100 million. They spent $100 million figuring out that by timing a postcard just right in relation to a mouse click, they could get a certain behavior, and that behavior from their people that use their site and services would result in vastly more than $100 million. Remember, cost a return on investment. So that's one tiny little glimpse. That's an indication of the type of work that goes on behind the scenes to try and influence people. It's clear in many financial commercials. You can see this thing. It's usually somebody's walking on a beach and sailboats, or you see dolphins and whales and stuff, and sunshine and clouds. and there's usually some couple walking, and they're blissful and peaceful and stuff. And so those images are meant to capture your attention and make you feel like if your money goes with that company, then you too will be swimming with dolphins and walking on the beach, and the clouds will be puffy. Um, there's a lot of work that goes into that. So recently, over the past, well, I can't even say recently, I don't know, six-ish years, 7 or more, I've lost track of how many years I've gotten to know a gentleman online, and we've stayed in touch, who works in, I don't know if you can read this. Nope, it's going to cut it out. Oh, shoot. You're not going to be able to read the cover because of the green screen behind me, but I'll read it to you. Advanced Introduction to Behavioral Finance. So I saw that this friend of mine is releasing this book. I pinged him on social media and said, hey, buddy, I want a signed copy of that, and was successful. So it looks like my video is frozen. Hopefully that unfreezes, and hopefully the audio is still working. But the book, okay. Well, something weird happened with software, but it does look like I am still streaming. My video cut out for a minute. Who knows? I gotta pay my StreamYard bill, maybe. I don't know. They're sending a message to me. Anyway, I don't know where that cut out, so I'm just going to reread the title is Advanced Introduction to Behavioral Finance. And I got a signed copy from my friend, who's one of the authors, and just a couple of days ago, got it in the mail and started digging into that. The point is, be aware, and boy, I wish I had like more hours in the day and more social media streams and stuff, because my goodness, what I could point out, and now once you see it, you can't unsee it. The influence peddling and the amount of attention and energy that goes into trying to convince people that something is worth their time and money. And it gets into even sounds. So there are sounds, I know this is sort of a weird analogy, but it just occurred to me, so I'm going to say it. In music, there are certain sounds that they've figured out make you feel a certain way, and in combinations, they can make you feel anxiety and then relief. And they'll incorporate those into pop music so that you get all excited about this pop music, and then toward the end, you feel like, I feel a sense of relief. All of that from audio, from sounds. And so in the world of finance, the same thing happens, and the same stuff, the same games are played. And when you're able to put together the numbers like I can do and dig into the real finances and what's happening and the woke far left influence on these financial firms, and then also kind of peel the onion on the influence that's being exerted, that's where we plan to go. That is a lot of what I plan to bring to light in my conversations about going unwoke, and just get people back to understandable basics, not the influence, not the virtue signaling, not the, pardon me, opaque, nasty stuff of ESG and CEI and all that stuff that is supposed to be good on paper and is just garbage. It's just nonsense, influence peddling. Get rid of all of those things that you can't really quantify, that are designed to try to influence you and get you to invest a certain way or buy certain types of products. Let's get back to what we can understand. That's the purpose of UnWoke and behavioral finance. I may not talk about it a lot, but my awareness of that factors into the discussions that I have and my fight back against the woke left. Thanks for listening. As always, Stay unwoke, my friends. Any questions or comments, any feedback on these videos that I do, shoot them my way. I'd be glad to just make you anonymous. I will ask your question if you'll let me, if you want me to. I'll ask your question in an anonymous way during one of these live streams and do my very best to answer that question, because who knows? There may be other people out there that have the same question. Shoot them my way and I'll do my very best. Take care.